And here we go again. Is it possible to survive in Ho Chi Minh on $10 a day, including all food, all drink, and all transport? We're gonna find out. $10 is roughly 235,000 Vietnamese dong. And with that $10, we're gonna try to have at least 2 or 3 meals. We're gonna pay for some public transport, possibly a coffee, and if we've got a bit of money left over, even maybe a couple of beers. Is this possible, you might ask? Let's find out. And I'm counting absolutely everything that I buy today, and that's even including water. So this is a food stall I've been regularly eating at, virtually daily. It's absolutely brilliant. And as you can see, it's like a buffet style, so you basically just point at what you want and then they bring it over to you and you sit down at some of them tables over there. We have rice, chicken and egg. Rice, chicken and egg. You can't really go wrong, can you? These little seats in Vietnam are absolutely hilarious as well. I'm 6 foot. And you have a chair that a 3-year-old would sit on, but welcome to Ho Chi Minh. The thing about this vlog that might happen today is it looks like it is about to absolutely tip down with rain. And it's not actually rained in the entire time I've been in Ho Chi Minh, so it's looking a bit dark, it's looking a bit grey, but I'm still going to make the video regardless. And the food in this stall is absolutely amazing. Incredibly fast, incredibly cheap. I'll tell you the price after I've given them the money. And incredibly healthy. Everything you want. I was right about the rain. Won't be spending much money for a little bit because I'm not going anywhere until this rain stops. One thing is in Southeast Asia, it's absolutely amazing how many mopeds and motorbikes still drive in this rain. They're just so used to it. It doesn't actually slow the traffic down whatsoever. You've still got to grind regardless of the weather. Although saying that, I'm taking a bit of shelter before I do some filming. So the rain has slowed down a little bit. Now we're gonna grab a bus. We are looking for the number 45. And we're actually gonna get a bus to a really cool street in Ho Chi Minh that I have not yet been before. So if we can find some shelter and wait for the bus, hopefully, it'll be all good. And in Vietnam, you've really got to flag the buses down, so I'm gonna have to get out on that road and make sure it stops. Another tip for people who are getting buses in Vietnam, at the moment, and this will be like this for some time, I imagine, you need a mask. So make sure you're aware of that and don't forget. And here we go, straight away. Brilliant. And we made it off the bus. For some reason I couldn't actually film inside the bus. Have absolutely no idea why.
Why not?
But it doesn't matter. There wasn't too much to see anyway. The main reason I actually went on the bus is just because of how cheap it is. That journey was around 15 minutes and it cost 6,000 Vietnamese dong, which still leaves me with a load of money. I'm not sure if I mentioned it previously, but that meal cost me 42,000 dong. So I think roughly we've spent about 60,000 already, which is fine, plenty more to go. The weather still looks a bit dodgy, but I want to show you guys this street that I've been looking forward to walking down. So let's go. I did actually have a little chuckle to myself when I was on the bus, and I did realise that all this vlog's going to be is finding incredibly cheap food and incredibly cheap alcohol until I basically spend my $10 US. But it is what it is. It doesn't sound too bad to me. I could have picked a nicer day to come down this street, but welcome everyone to Book Street, where there is around 30 to 40 different bookstores, from Western books to local Vietnamese books. And it's quite cool down here, but obviously it'd be so much nicer if the weather was better, but can't do too much about that. And down this street as well, there's obviously loads of quite nice cafes and things like that. And as we come towards the end of this street, there's actually a Notre Dame Cathedral of Saigon, which is quite an impressive building actually. It's currently closed at the moment because there's a huge amount of reconstruction going on. I've currently showed you an incredibly wet book street and a cathedral that's got a load of scaffolding on it. I think it's time for a cheap beer, don't you? After a brief look on Google Maps, it looks like there's a really good cheap bar as well that's pretty close to where I've just been. 5 minutes around the corner, a bar called Barbed Wire. So I grabbed my beer to try and get inside from the rain, and then I found this little sign. You may not be able to read it, but it basically says if I give them a good review, they'll give me a free beer. So I've actually got buy one get one free on a day where I can only spend $10 US. I enjoyed them couple of beers, and what a nice bar it was. Say bye bye. That really cheered me up actually. After the bad weather, not being able to film on the bus, and the disappointment of Book Street, which wasn't actually that good to be honest, going into a bar and actually getting a free beer and having a chat to the bar girls, it's really cheered me up. The one downside was, I asked that bar girl, how old do you think I am? She said 35. The YouTube grind is aging me already. And this is what I mean. It's often a bit of clickbait when people say survive the day on $10 US, but you actually can do it here quite comfortably. One of the harder roads to cross in Ho Chi Minh. Trouble is, we've got to get down there. Come on. You got to put your hand out. It's actually quite important that when you cross the road, just stick your arm out just to make sure they stop. Well, this is a nice car, isn't it? A white Lamborghini. The only trouble is I've only got 107 subscribers. I'm gonna need a few more before I can afford one of these. An absolute beauty. I've never seen Bui Vien so quiet, and that's absolutely fine. I've only come up here for food, and I'm going to do a separate vlog on the Bui Vien walking street nightlife, so check that out when it comes out. But it's strange, even though this place is just full of basically bars, on the edges of Bui Vien, there's actually a few nice kind of places to eat that are really cheap. So I'm going to show you one of them now. So we've made it from one end of Bui Vien to the other, and I found the place I was looking for. Duck noodle, 40k, well within my budget. And I'm hungry, so let's eat. My legs can barely fit under here. Noodle soup. Beer. And we're still gonna have change to spare. So as my duck noodle soup cools down, I like to talk a little bit about my day, because it didn't start well at all. Firstly, it absolutely hammered down with rain while I was eating. I wasn't too bothered about that, to be honest. I then left my bottle of water at that restaurant while I walked through the rain to the bus. We then got the bus, we weren't able to film on it. We then finally got to Book Street. Book Street was a bit of a disappointment, to be fair. Even though the rain didn't help, even on a nice day, I wouldn't bother going there, to be honest. We then went to that church thing that was just covered in scaffolding. That was absolutely awful. So it was all quite bad until we went to that bar, and my luck changed around when I got a free beer for giving them a review. That cost 65,000 for a beer and a duck noodle soup. I've had a look at my wallet, and I've got 32,000 Vietnamese dong left to spend. And that can only mean one of two things. Either you buy a banh mi, a Vietnamese sandwich, or you find a cheap beer. And the thing is, I've just eaten, so it looks like it's gonna be the beer. And we finish with a 20,000 Vietnamese dong beer. And this brings the close to another vlog. And I hope I've been a little bit of help in giving people the understanding that you don't need to spend a lot of money here to have a good time. My mission started at 3 o'clock today, and it's nearly 9 o'clock now. So I've spent less than $10 in 6 hours. It started with a bottle of water, which I lost, then some food, then a bus ride, then 2 beers, then a beer and some food, and then another beer. And I've spent less than $10. I've still got change. I'm on my way home now, and I hope everyone's enjoyed my vlog. Thanks for all watching, and same time tomorrow. I'm getting into a nice rhythm with these vlogs now. I've had 4 beers, so I better watch myself as I cross. Thanks again, everyone. See you on the next one.